Alrighty. Hello, everybody. It's been quite a while
Welcome to your first day on the job.
since the
Make
last
yourself at
time we
home.
chatted.
To complete the onboarding process,
I
you will
I
want
need to remember how to play this fucking game.
manual and sign
A
into your ship's
whole lot of
computer
stuff
terminal.
has
We
happened,
trust
and this series is based off of those changes. So, what we're doing is okay, great, I screenshotted. We are going to be running hardcore Ironmans uh, until I stop boymoding, and that is literally that's the vibe. That's the vibe of the series. I'm not gonna tell you what that shit is because if you know, you know. However, what I will say is Iron Man. Uh, Iron Man's a pretty fun format. You get to visit every single moon in one playthrough. You only get to visit them once. If you die, you die. You have to visit them in order, with the exception of Embryon and Artifice being the last two moons, either interchangeably. It doesn't matter when you do them. All I know is by the end of it, fingers crossed, we'll have enough money to live. So, let's begin. So, let me give you guys a little bit of context as to what the fuck I'm actually doing. So, back, I'd probably say almost 2 years ago, me and my buddies used to play this game basically like every single day after we got home from lecture and class. Okay, so there's the thing. And we became... This is not the place to go. Oh, this is bad. How lovely. But we became absolutely cracked at this game to the point... we never actually ran Ironmans together, but... There we go. Scared I was gonna miss it. You're about to see if I can skill issue or not. Anyway, we used to play this game all the time, and when I would go back to my dorm room, and then we'd go back to their place, we would basically be playing this shit all the time until like fucking morning came or whatever, right? There it is. Oh. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my god. That's actually what I'm talking about. I'm sick. I'm sick. Yeah. So we just used to dick off, play this game a bunch, and we got surprisingly decent at it. I don't want to say like I'm amazing or anything like that, like Brett or anything like that, but we got pretty decent at the game. I'd probably say better than the average Joe. And ooh, nice. It's actually turning out to be pretty solid. Zeekers. Anyway, so I wanted to revisit this game because I figured it's a good time to like call back and do what I enjoyed the most, which was playing with a company. Fact of the matter is they all moved on and they don't play Lethal Company as much, which isn't a problem. It's just, you know, when you've been doing something that you've been used to for so long, you kind of miss your boys. You know what I'm saying? You miss your boys. I wish I could scan that before I killed it. It's already 12 o'clock. That's bad. Oh, okay, that scared the shit out of me. Oh, There's a fire exit. Anything back there? Just not click it. And we're back in the maze. Okay. Cheers. Lovely. Hi, buddy. Where the hell did my thingy go? Lovely. So... that's great. We're just gonna leave. We're just gonna leave. Yep. Oh, we gotta go back for that bolt and the what's it called? The fact that Ghost Girl's in there is not a good thing. So let's just get in and get out. So anyway, I figured I would take this series to sort of give no thank you. No thank you. To give, I guess, some more insight and like perspective on like what my recent whereabouts are, because I know everyone's just dying to know what I'm doing nowadays. So a lot of different changes have happened. I've been questioning some things for God, I don't know how long now. And I want to at least use this platform to reach out and sort of be a space where people can either, like, I don't know, like, understand where I'm coming from, relate to where I'm coming from, any sort of thing like that. So I had been doing a lot of research, and God, this is so stupid, but anyway, getting back into it, seriously considering being transgender, and I'm
Welcome
just
to your
gonna
first day on the job.
throw that bombshell
This
out
is your
there.
very own autopilot shift, where you will eat and
Going
sleep for
through-
the duration of your contract.
Seeking different types of treatments.
Make yourself at home. To
One of the
complete
main things
onboarding process,
is
great
one of the things
great
I'm
asset to the
mainly
company.
seeking
Asset,
out
great,
to
great,
consider
great
is
asset to the
consulting
company.
a
Asset to great,
gender
great
therapist, so that I can actually like understand why the hell I feel the way that I do. Yeah. And that's basically the whole point of the series, is we're going to be doing this until I can be confident in my ability of presenting as who I want to be, which is kind of the main idea of, you know, transitioning, is just figuring out who the fuck you actually are. So that's the kind of vibes we're going with. And whether or not I come out of it as trans, or if I come out of it as someone who is just kind of like questioning their existence, then like either way I'll consider it a win. But the series will stop when I actually stop boy moding. No objects outside. Cool. But there are 12, so that's good. I guess one of the things I really wanted to delve into mainly was my initial feelings and concerns towards potentially being transgender. And one of the many things that really stuck out to me was when... Oh wow, the lights are on, that's crazy. It's not very epic. I've been reaching out to a lot of different, like, support groups and, like, Discord servers talking about their experiences with, you know, transitioning and questioning, like, who they are and who they want it to become. And a lot of what I have been... a lot of what I have been talking about, I can fairly easily relate to, and I'm not entirely sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, like, it's a thing, and I'm cool with it. Happy to know that fire exit's right here. Lovely. But yeah, so great. This is going to be a horrible day already. 3 transfers. Let's grab you, just in case. What am I doing? But yeah, no, different people I have talked to about it, and they've helped me at least come to the understanding that this is a potential avenue I do need to take in my life, and I'll be completely honest, it's a little scary, but at the same time it's comforting, because now I can actually kind of... Oh my god, 4 transfers already, Jesus. Can we just not do that today? And apparatus. I think it may be time to call quits, just because it's so close. Yeah, we'll see what this way brings. Nothing, right? That's what it brought. So, yay for me. It's given me a lot of time to reflect on what I have experienced, what I want to experience, all that kind of stuff. And the more and more I look back on things, the more and more I'm like, that may or may not have been a sign as... And a thumper. Oh, see you, buddy. Smell you later. What an idiot. Yeah, look at this. 4 transfers. What a fun day on experimentation. Looks like you needed to get aboard to handle the neutron style, but he wasn't really good at that. Yeah. So, one of the things mainly I did when I was in university was, like, sort of explore who I was and what I wanted to become, because all of a sudden, like, I think it was halfway through my first year, I had really, like, set in stone, like, I think I am transgender, and that was very scary. Like, talking about it to people that essentially, like, I didn't even trust, so I don't even know why the fuck I said anything. But I mean, I knew a lot of psychology students, and they somewhat understand what they're talking about, but not to the extent of like actual professionals. So I mean, that was my B, and as much as I don't like how the initial process went, I don't regret saying the things I did. And a lot of that comes from just, you know, feeling comfortable in my own skin and figuring out that kind of shit. But one of the main things that really like took me for a turn was when I had told my my family it, and I went through, told them, and they didn't necessarily disagree with it, but they were definitely confused. Like, it definitely seemed like it came out of nowhere, which, I mean, in all honesty, it may have. But they played around with the idea that, you know, potentially I could just be, you know, not wanting to identify with any gender or anything like that. And so for a long while, yeah, that's a bad noise. I don't like that noise. For a long while, I had played around with being androgynous and non-binary and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I never really felt like that was it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yes, this was like the end all be all. Like, this is exactly how I want to express my gender identity or whatever the fuck, right? And so every time, like, I went through speaking and working through things in my head where it was just like, oh, clothes is clothes, it doesn't really matter, which, I mean, is true. Like, I've seen fabulous looking men in dresses, and I've seen absolutely wonderful looking women in like pants or whatever, right? But like typical guy and girl clothes. But that whole idea is kind of stupid. Anyway, I don't know. It never really like screamed to me like, yes, I want to be completely outside of the binary. And the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I kind of like internalized that fact. And one of the things that I mainly did was I pushed it away, right? I moved to well, this is so like, I don't even like, this is so disconnected or whatever, because I'm just like I'm just rambling. But when I was in school, like before I had moved to like where I currently live, when I was in school, I mainly like, I don't want to say like I liked girl things or whatever, right? But I mean, at the time, like when you're a kid, you're like super judgmental as shit, right? So you kind of view everything in that kind of way without like being super open to the possibility of like, yeah, that like boys can like wear dresses, do their nails and all that kind of stuff, wear makeup. Oh, lovely, there's a dog. Great. This is gonna be awesome. I think we just grab this and we just go. Dog, 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 dog. Damn, I'm losing my train of thought. Dog. Yeah, no, we're It's not worth. It's not worth. Not worth. Anyway, so because I liked I liked I liked girl shows, and one of the many things is um, we used to really like football. Well, okay, my mom still does, but she really likes football. Ouch! Oh, that's brutal. Just literally one. What? I'm part-timer? Oh my God, I used to be boss. I swear, I'm not a pick me. Anyway, that's really bad. That is so bad. Um, I liked girl shows, and a couple things were when when I was in like middle school and all that kind of stuff, when I was just like sort of finding my footing with, being an individual. Well, first off, childhood wasn't necessarily the most kind to me when it came to like the social aspect outside of the house. Um, but I thought I thought I was gay. Like I had been having uh like what do you call it? Like a kid fling. I don't know. That's such a weird fucking thing to say. But I I had a boyfriend for like 2 months, 2 or 3 months or whatever. I'm not necessarily saying that's like a huge indicator or anything like that, but I thought that I was gay, and I wore like pink scarves I had in my bag, and I had this like pink hat that I had or whatever. And again, I'm not saying that that is like the indicator, like, oh yes, of course, of course. But my main friend group when I was in middle school were girls. We would talk about like fucking anything going on like that, and it was nice. Like I felt included. It felt nice, right? Um, and then I moved away. Well, because in middle school I got bullied a lot. Like when I was living in my old location, I got bullied a whole lot, and it wasn't just from like the students either. I thought that was like who I was or who I was becoming or whatever. And like I felt myself relating to, the people in my friend group, and I felt seen, I felt heard. They didn't care who I was, and there was one teacher in particular. She was really nice. Um, I guess I had two really nice, like the goats, um, for trying to survive middle school or like elementary school or whatever. Um, and nice. Like I had talked to them about how I was feeling, about expressing myself, and all of that kind of stuff, but I never really talked to anyone else about it because, well, from where I came from, um, not necessarily that we didn't have the most accepting people. It just was a very foreign concept, and I felt like there was like no real point in bothering telling anyone. So well, whenever I did talk, I was like always met with rejection or whatever. So I just kind of like didn't talk, and that for the majority of my life has just been how it is. I've been kind of on a recent like honesty tour or whatever. So whip out your fucking little bingo cards for 2026 or whatever. Um, I've been on a little honesty tour, and one of the things that came with that was, you know, feeling the way that I do and expressing how I feel. So when I had brought up the idea, that's not good. When I had brought up the idea, it wasn't that it was initially shunned or anything like that. It was very much like it's for safety, right? Because there's a lot of violence and a lot of hate that goes towards people for just being who they are and what they want to what they want to identify as, which is not very epic, not very cool. So yeah, but going back to my early years, going back to like the football thing, super obsessed with football, and football has been a super big portion, a part of our lives. I used to play it when I was a kid, which we had guys and girls, well, boys and girls, just kind of chilling out on the same team, and because we were young enough where it didn't matter, right? And so the idea of just like separating the two just kind of became meshed. And one of the big takeaways from this was in grade 6, like less and less, like grade 6, grade 7, less and less girls started playing and more guys started playing, and I didn't really like that. I didn't like the competitiveness of a bunch of preteens who are just like kind of cranked out on hormones right now. And I didn't like feeling like I had to it's not that I had to or anything like that, but like I felt like I had to sort of keep up with them. And so I quit. And it's not that like I feel like I used the excuse of like, it's just I'm not strong enough, blah 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 blah, or like it's not my sport. I think it really boils down to like the fact that I didn't want to be that another thumper. Really, that's awesome. That's actually so cool. I think we just go to main. I think that's our next call to action. But we just go carefully. But yeah, I feel like that was mainly the reason I quit. It's good findings. Good findings. Well, yeah, good. Let's that was the main reason I quit, was because I didn't want to be that, you know. I just wanted to be me. And I feel like that direction, already a fucking dog, so I'm gonna have to be quiet, but that direction wasn't one that I wanted to take in my life. Like, as much as I did like playing football, like, okay, there is bees. So I think we just get this and then we get the bees. 2 bees? What the fuck? Good for me. Where's the soccer ball? But it's right there. And, you know, I don't really tell this to a lot of people. Like, obviously, like, I'm a fan of My Little Pony. Like, that's kind of like a given. You know, someone with a MLP profile picture. That's just how it is. How much are we talking? 89? I don't think it's worth it. But it's right there. I'm gonna greed max. I think we should be fine over here. Oh, there's two of them. Why are there two? It's okay. I'm actually cracked. Holy shit. We so made up for experimentation being shit. Yeah. So I found out that I liked that kind of stuff, and because one of my really good friends in elementary school, middle school, was just a guy who was like super into My Little Pony, which that's how I got introduced to that. I just kind of hid it away from everyone. Mainly, I I downloaded a bunch of Gmod mods because back in the day there's a channel called Venturian Tale. I'm sure you've probably heard of them, but this is one of them gets scary. Please tell me I actually brought my shovel. I didn't. I left the shovel behind. Oh god. This is so bad. Anyway, I downloaded, like, cause I had Gmod, and I downloaded a bunch of MLP fucking mods, which of course that doesn't indicate that I'm a girl, but oh, it's eclipsed.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh god.
What the fuck, man?
Oh god, this is gonna be so bad. Okay. Oh. Only one way to do it. Hopefully we get to see one of those new kitties. But yeah. So I kind of hid that away from everyone. Like I talked about this on like a subreddit that I was a part of, and I know honest, like the fact that I use Reddit is actually kind of cringe, but
Do I amuse you?
lovely. Happy to know that there's already giants. Raids. Well, at least we know that one of the spawns is taken up by a giant. So I liked a bunch of that kind of stuff, and I never really told anyone about it, and the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I was like, you know, because one of my, like, my initial, like, thoughts for when I had came out, or, like, when I was thinking about coming out or whatever. Lovely. So this is where I go to die. Was when I had initially broke up with my first long-term girlfriend, which, I mean, it hit me like a truck. Um, I felt completely powerless to the breakup, and come to find out, like, more and more thinking about it, she wasn't necessarily the best for me, and she hurt me a lot, and she would, like, gaslight and manipulate me, and that wasn't very epic. But when I was with her, I felt like, because, you know, I was her boyfriend, I had to amount to a certain standard that, I guess, like it sounds so stupid now, but I felt like I had a sort of pressure to be a good man for her, and like, and so our values were very much like vintage, which vintage values aren't, oh, oh lovely. Vintage values aren't a bad thing. Like, the whole vintage era of, like, clothing and stuff, which is, it's pretty epic. At least I think so. And I still, to this day, really, really, really like vintage clothing and the aesthetic of that. But, when I was with her, the more and more... I hear you, little bastard. I don't know what it is. It's not a man-eater. I know that. But the more and more I, like, was introduced to those types, or that type of aesthetic, the more and more I was drawn to specifically how the women looked. And, like, lovely a spider. And how, like, women's clothes looked, and I was the more and more thinking, like, subconsciously, like, I really, really want to wear those pieces, and I want to look like that. But, like, I couldn't say that to her, because, well, for fuck's sake, I was boy maxing or whatever, right? But I felt like it was almost like sort of like a deep desire to be a woman. And how that relates back to the football thing is, after I quit playing football in, I believe it was 6th grade? Something like that. I'm in 6th grade! Anyway, after I quit playing football in 6th grade, I mainly, like, because my brother and... Jesus Christ. Holy fucking shit, that scared the fuck out of me. That's okay, I can talk. There's no dogs. But after I had quit in 6th grade, I had, like, my brother and my mom and my dad really still enjoyed, like, being a part of the sport. It got to the point where they had became the coaches for the high school that my brother had went to, because for the longest time they didn't have a football team, and they wanted to ignite that, and they united a lot of different students with a lot of different backgrounds, and they, I think, helped a lot of people, and they became the top of the league, and everyone hated them for it. But I was kind of like their water boy, or like their water person or whatever. And I'm surprised I lived. Holy shit. I'm not going back in there because I'm a pussy. But See you later, fucker. But when they had went out, I
Other goods. You have
I would start,
days
like,
left to meet the profit quota.
playing around
You can use
with
the terminal to route the autopilot to the company building.
like some clothes that were at the house. Some I don't know. I don't really remember. But I used to fool around with that kind of stuff, and it mainly just I don't know. It felt good, but it didn't feel good that I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that I did it when no one was around, or like it didn't feel good to hide that kind of stuff. So I felt like I was doing something wrong, mainly, which, I mean, obviously I wasn't. I was just trying to figure out who the fuck I am. But it really just, it stuck out to me, right? There was obviously a reason I was interested in it. Plus, at the time, basically my entire family thought I was fucking gay anyway, which was kind of hurtful. And like, kids at school were like, "Oh, you're gay," or whatever the fuck, right? And then when I told like the other teachers about it, they were like, "Oh, what's wrong with being gay?" And so they just kind of added on to it. So the more and more that shit happened, the more and more I kind of felt like I had to push that shit down. And so when I had broken up with my first long-term relationship, I basically immediately moved into another one, which is of course what you do when you're desperate or whatever the fuck, right? And so there's 100. I need 30. Give me 30. Give me 30. I don't want to oversell that much. A cruiser is a good. You know what? Let's just raw dog it. Who cares? We don't need the cruiser. We might need cruiser for March though. I don't plan on this run lasting too long. This is mainly just an intro. But yeah, I got into another relationship, and like I had really started accentuating like the fact that I was like a man's man. Like I would grow my facial hair out. I started working out more, specifically like my upper body and my chest and my arms. I guess that's what my fucking upper body is. But anyway, I did that, and I think deep down I really didn't feel good about it. Like, because, excuse me, when I went away to university for my first year, halfway through it, specifically it was December of it was the first term, the very last bit when I came home after exams. I had really been like questioning this kind of stuff. And when I had told my girlfriend at the time, she seemed super supportive, or like not supportive, but like to the point where it was kind of like forced upon me, of like, oh, these are like the feelings I had, these are the questions like I was going through, blah 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 blah. And so she provided me all of her, like her old clothing, all that kind of stuff that I would just kind of wear in private and feel good about. But when I had moved back up to university, she had seemed super, super closed off, like to the point where we basically weren't talking for like a week or two. And she did not like the idea of me actually being like that being a potential avenue for my life. So she completely closed off to me and left me to like fucking fend for myself. And so when I did, I had reached out to my school's pride center and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of trying to figure out actually what the fuck is going on, because it's not fair. After Jesus Christ, scared the fucking shit out of me. After that period, I had yeah, we may as well oversell. I had, like, she had reached back out to me, super warm and opening and all that kind of shit. Well, come to find out, she was probably only doing it because, like, oh my god, my partner is trans. I can actually, like, I can.
Your hard work is invaluable to the
Because
company.
as soon as she came back, she was obsessed with being bisexual, like to the point of it being like one of the main identifiers for her in our friend group. Well, okay, later on. This was like when she came to the university. Anyway, she was super, super obsessed with the fact that she was bisexual. And, you know, having a trans partner and a bisexual, like, person is like, oh, it's a big deal because they're so prideful together or whatever the fuck. So she came back. There's a whole bunch of stuff that went down that semester that is just like completely fucking out of the question. It helped fuel the fire of like self-hatred. And I did a lot of stuff that I'm not proud of, which not very epic, right? Not very epic. But yeah, it had gotten to the point where when I had came back for that summer, because I grew my hair out a substantial amount compared to what it used to be, at least. But when I came back for the summer, I had to cut my hair, and that really fucking sucked, like a whole lot. I understand it was to help my chances at employment because, well, being a university student, you just kind of bounce from job to job. You don't really have a secure fucking place until like afterwards, right? So you just get like odd summer student jobs, stuff like that. And I need a shovel. Sniff everything out of the store. Could I get a bunny suit? It's not like I'm gonna use the money, but at the same time, cruiser. Let's get the belt bag. Why not? What other stuff have we got? Boom box. Yes. Yes, please. Anyway, I was forced to cut my hair, and it really sucked, and it hurt a lot because, you know, I felt super strong about identifying as a girl, and when that happened, it just kind of helped reinforce the idea of like I can't properly express like how I truly feel about at least my gender identity. And so I went back to hiding all of my clothes, hiding like nail polish, makeup, all that kind of stuff, and shit. But yeah, and then going into the next year, my second year of university, was a super, super like expressive time, let's say, because that was when my second girlfriend at the time was super obsessed with the fact that I identified as transgender. And so that would be like her main crutch was, oh, I have a trans partner. I have like blah 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 blah. You know, it also sucked. And it got to the point where the more and more I thought about it, the more and more bad it got, which caused basically another identity crisis of like we had a big fucking argument. Like she was finished her exams in the second semester, so the April or the winter term. And she had went home early because I had to stay later to finish up my exams because, well, I was in a math program, she's in biology, basically like one of the fucking easiest things that you could ever do in university. Um, but when she went home, like we fought a lot and we started seeing each other less and less, and it got to the point where, you know, she was cheating behind my back the whole fucking time. But the things that we kept fighting about, it was like as soon as I said, I don't even know if I am trans anymore, or if I don't even know if that's truly how I feel because, you know, no one really gave me the time of day to actually ask, like, what the fuck are you going through? What the fuck do you actually feel? And, you know, it didn't help. It really didn't help. So when I said that, she basically completely went cold on me and started going out with other people and doing all that kind of shit. And there was a day where I was just kind of like, I'm fucking done. Right? And the worst part is, after that whole thing happened, she still like decided to go to the same school with me, and come to find out, like after I had requested to like move and all that kind of stuff, she had still went to the same school as me. She went to the same dorms as me. Sometimes she would harass me, like fucking. She'd figure out where I was on like my floor, and she would just kind of linger around and be a fucking asshole. But yeah, so that's when I had detransitioned, and when I had like started opening up as being non-binary and like male presenting or whatever the fuck, and that didn't feel right. It very much was like it doesn't seem like this one is a good option. But by the way, I made that jump. I'm actually the goat. But that was where I was at. Was I felt like I either was nothing, and I didn't want to identify as anything, or I knew I wasn't, like specifically was not a girl, because like my experiences with being transgender were not good. So why would I want to do that again? So nice, really fucking epic. Why isn't this a mine shaft? Why isn't this a mine shaft? We're on offense. Like, what's the likelihood of that? Come on now, guys. Come on, Seekers. But yeah, it had gotten to the point where that is something I just did not want any part of. I became extremely like against LGBTQ stuff, and I said I wasn't supportive, blah, 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 blah. And then the more and more Jesus, I was about to walk on that. The more and more I had sat with the idea and was actually able to sit down and think for myself. Because at the time, well, after I had gotten out of my second relationship, what did I do but get into another one? What a great idea. But for the most part, like I dated my best friend, and she was awesome, and we had a great time for the most part, but a lot of things caused us to have a lot of like fights and arguments and all that kind of stuff, and so we just kind of figured, like, what's the point in that, because we don't want to hurt each other anymore. We actually, you know, enjoy each other's company, and we don't want to hurt each other. And yeah, so then the more and more I sat and thought with, you know, actually being single and having a time to fucking breathe that isn't dedicated to another person, the more and more I thought, the more and more I was like, what if this is true? What if I am actually transgender? And I've been sitting on that for I don't know how long now. Well, I mean, it's been like a total of 5 years, I would probably say, since like I initially came out or anything like that. But like, and of course, it's super, super helpful that I make this video after fucking Pride Month on Canada Day. So, yippee, good for me. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just sort of figuring out who I want to be and what feels good for me. And I mean, as a result, I've basically gone back to somewhat of old habits, you know, boymoding and all that. And, you know, eventually I'm just gonna pick up one of those Blahajes and snuggle. Jesus Christ. Fucking shit. I'm gonna pick up a Blahaj, and I'm just gonna cuddle that man till the fucking cows come home. Come on, man. We're out of here. This is actually the furthest I've gotten in Ironman, so good for me. However, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I feel like as the series goes on, I'll just kind of get more in depth with different eras in my life. This was just kind of like an introductory to like who the fuck I am, like what's been going on for the past like Jesus. I would honestly say like 13 years. Cause like before 10, I would probably say I did not feel this way. Or maybe a little before 10, I don't know. I guess that's more digging I have to do, but like I'd probably say for around the furthest back that I can think of, like where I had a slight inkling towards like my gender identity was 10 years ago, or sorry, 13 years ago. And yeah, so we're kind of chilling, right? So yeah, we're cracked at this game, like always. We've always been. Many years of university have helped me become really good at this video game, not so much at mathematics, which is what I went in for. But, you know, we chillin'. Fingers crossed I don't die. Thank fuck. I'm not going back in there. This is a fucking coil head. I know this isn't enough. I know there's so much more loot in there, but I can't. I just can't. I'd rather have a safe run than not. A march is gonna be so bad. I don't even know what the new map looks like anymore. So we stopped playing before the March update. Do I go back? It's 5 o'clock. I think I just play it safe. It's kind of like a brief summary of what's been going on with me and what I've been experiencing in this sort of journey of identity. So that's the kind of vibes we're going with, is we're gonna keep playing this game until I have an answer. Oh my god. That was so bad. $87. Holy fucking shit. Yeah, so I suck at this game. Oh fuck. Fingers crossed we can actually get good at March. This is probably where the run is gonna end, I hope. I'm tired of talking. Is that a cat? Thought I saw you, kitty. Where the fuck is the main entrance? What the fuck is this map, bro? Oh my lord. This is not the march I know. Bees? I could do that. How much? I've got a golden ticket. feel like Boogie with the fake cancer. Oh my god. Never mind, I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm like Mitt Romney, baby. Oh, fuck. Every time I say him, I just think of the epic rap battle. Let's get over it. Fingers crossed there's no baboon hawks. Me no likey baboon hawks. Ooh. And one locker. Fish. Famous digital circus character, orange talking fish. That was a horrible impression. I used to be good at really good at doing a Zach impression, but that just kind of fell off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what you're saying. What the fuck is this way again? Alright, this is the bad way. This is the bad way. Oh, this way. Let's get them bottles, son. Go this way. Lovely. Oh my god. This is actually so good. I think we just call it. I think we just call it. Oh, what a perfect way to fucking end. Yeah. Wow. That sucked. Well, that's it for me. The Ironman's over, and we can actually, like... Holy fucking shit, that scared the fuck out of me. Anyway. Yeah. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Probably be out with another episode soon. I don't know. It's Canada Day. I'm gonna go fucking celebrate, do something that isn't playing Lethal Company. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye. Bye.